A man used to buy a first-class flight ticket every day, but he never boarded the flight. Instead, he always sat in the hall watching TV. But on this day, something different happened. The sports channel host suddenly fell asleep. When the camera changed, all the players were seen lying on the ground. The man became alarmed upon seeing this. Then he ran straight to the gate and started looking around. At that moment, he saw something. He quickly went to security, grabbed the guard's weapon, and then started running wildly through the crowd. The passengers screamed in fear, thinking he was a terrorist. But the man did not harm anyone. He was just running toward the runway. Meanwhile, a flight attendant sensed something suspicious and tried to close the door. But the man blocked the lock with his gun. He entered the plane and pointed his gun at the pilot, threatening, "Take off the plane immediately." The pilot was trembling with fear. The man shouted, "We must leave here before sunrise or we will all die." The pilot and the flight attendant did not believe him. Just then a security guard knocked on the door, and the pilot tried to take advantage of the distraction. However, the gun suddenly went off, injuring the pilot's hand. The man ignored it and ordered, "Fly the plane." The pilot said he could not fly alone because he had only one functional hand left. The man turned to the passengers and asked, "Is there anyone here who can fly a plane?" Everyone stared at him as if he were crazy. Just then a woman named Callie spoke up. "I can fly a helicopter," the man said. "Come on, let's go to the cockpit." The flight started to ascend slowly. At that moment, the co-pilot, who was outside, was shocked to see everything. He tried to stop the flight, but the man's gun prevented him. The man shouted, "Fly the plane now, or you'll be shot." Eventually, the flight took off. Once things settled in the air, the pilot asked, "What do you mean by fearing the sun?" The man replied, "I am a NATO Army major. I heard that something has changed in the sun. Any living creature exposed to sunlight will die, even if they are indoors. At first, I thought it was just a rumor. But when I saw athletes dying live on TV, I became sure we must stay in the dark. We must escape the sun." The pilot and Callie did not believe him. Meanwhile, all the passengers on the plane were in panic. The flight attendant tried to calm everyone down. Just then, a passenger handed her a note. It read, "There is another terrorist on the plane." The flight attendant became even more terrified. At this point, the pilot asked the man, "Is this happening between America and Asia?" The man replied, "It will begin wherever the sun shines. If we want to survive, we must fly in the opposite direction of the sun." The pilot then asked, "How long can we fly away from the sun?" "Eventually, the plane will run out of fuel." They decided that they would land the plane where it was still nighttime. The pilot then announced to the passengers, "The plane will land at Moscow airport." Upon hearing this, one passenger suddenly fell ill and quickly asked to go to the toilet. At that moment, another terrorist on the plane seized the gun from the ex-NATO army officer and locked him inside the toilet.